I'm torture testing the Klipsch RP1200SW, preparing to make my review video after this video is done. I'm going to bring you guys behind the scenes of what I'm actually doing. I have a secondary camera looking at the sub so you guys can see it up close. I'm going to play some demos in here on my Anthem AVM 70. We have it at volume 22.5. I do have it calibrated for the sub. The sub dial is turned to halfway, which is 5.5. And the crossover is on LFE on the sub because I have it crossed over, I think at 60 hertz, but it plays, of course, 120 because I can set two different crossovers for the subwoofer. So I have it turned up pretty loud. I'm going to run a clip from Tron that I did in my unboxing video, but louder. So I'm going to play this and try to give you live action. I'm going to go ahead and roll this camera here. All right, so let's play this first demo.
Is live. Please initiate light cycle back.
I'm not sure how well you guys are going to hear me, but this demo here really shows how quickly this sub can stop and how low it can play. It requires a lot of composure. I'm going to turn this lamp on and turn this light off. I can't really show the screen for copyright reasons. I'm going to turn the light on the phone so you guys can see. Typically I sit right here and watch, and I lean over towards the middle. So this is the best place for bass, very blended. There's so much air that comes through here. You may be able to see the carpet move on some of it. Not sure if you guys can see the carpet lifting. It's pretty cool. I'm going to stop that right there. So this test for me, I'm going to turn this light back on. You guys may get dizzy with me moving a lot. We'll see what happens. With this test here, what I'm aiming for is seeing, this is probably going to play again. Let me stop that. There we go. So this test here, what it does for me is just how composed can this subwoofer stay at a high volume. That's literally the test here. It's a high excursion driver, so I'm trying to see what is its mechanical limits. At this volume, I haven't hit it. There's plenty of bass. This is the only sub that's on right now out of the 4 that are in this room. This is the only one that's working, and it provides plenty of bass in this room. For reference, this is a 13-foot deep by 10.5-foot wide, 8-foot ceiling room. Not a big room whatsoever. I'm sitting probably 7 of the 10 feet away. So it does completely fine being where it's at in my listening position and gives me plenty enough bass. This is only a 400 watt RMS subwoofer, 800 watts peak. And in the review, I'm going to tell you why I hate that. I think that's the weakness of this sub is its power rating. But it does move a lot of air. You may be able to have seen the carpet was flying up because the air coming out of that slotted port. But the point of this particular test was just to see what's my mechanical limits. Do I hear the mechanical limits? Is there any kind of DSP that's protecting the sub from, over excurting or over driving this sub to the point where I could damage it? At this volume, which is where I listen to when I'm watching my movies, it's completely fine. It's doing very well. So I do want to try a low frequency sweep and see how it does with that. All right, this test, oh, it's playing. This test is dangerous. It's a 20 hertz test tone. I'm not playing it very loud. This is at 42.5 dBs or negative 42.5 dBs on the volume knob. It is a very moderate listening level, not loud at all. But this goal is to see port chuffing. Port chuffing is when the turbulence of the air escaping the box. On their website, they say it's down to a minimum. Usually when you have port shuffling, it's usually around those lower frequencies, 20, 25 hertz, maybe 30, and just underneath that, because a lot of air is moving. Usually that's around the port tuning. There's a lot of air coming out, but not a lot of movement. You can tell what your sub is tuned to by playing frequencies. And you'll find your port tuning when the cone is not moving very much, but there's a lot of air and a lot of output. That tells you you're around your port tuning. I would say this is probably tuned pretty close to no higher than 25 hertz. I'd say it's probably even lower than that. But this is a 20 hertz test tone that I'm going to play at a truly moderate volume. I've already listened to it, so I know what to expect. But I'm going to play it for you guys. Listen for what you can, and I'll show you what's going on. I'm going to bring the mic down. So you guys can hear the air. Not a lot of movement, but a lot of air. And you can even feel the air back here. It's actually quite windy. So I'm going to stop that test right there. And the reason being is because I can smell the subwoofer. So this is why it's dangerous. When you run test tones like this, you have to be careful because you're going to generate a lot of heat. And even though the sub wasn't exerting to its maximum, I can smell it. I smell the coil. Now this is a new sub. It might be glue burning off. I don't know if they break in their subs before they deliver them, but I can smell the sub. And that's a sign that you need to turn off the video or turn off the test tone. I'm going to touch the cone. It's a little bit warm there. So it's 20 hertz is a strong, it's rated down to 16 hertz. It definitely plays it, but it's not very loud. It kind of drops off pretty quickly under 20 hertz, but it's there. But everything that you heard was actually port chuffing. Most of what I was hearing was just air leaving the subwoofer itself, which is what Klipsch said it wouldn't do, or it would do to a minimum. Me personally, I think that was rather loud. It was vibrating the walls, everything, so you guys probably heard that. But most of the sound that I heard at 20 hertz at moderate volume was a lot of air. So I'm around the port tuning. Of course, that's going to happen. I'm going to go to a 25 hertz test tone and see if that sounds any better. There's 25 hertz. Same volume level. A lot less air. This is 5 hertz higher than the last test. We have a lot less cone movement, and we have a whole bunch of less air. I don't hear anything but bass right now. So between 20 and 25 hertz, I think 20 hertz we're getting probably underneath the port tuning, and now we're just getting a lot of air. The cone is losing control, and I think you can hear that whenever you're listening. So when you start getting closer to that 20 hertz bass, that's when the driver stops having control over the sound, and now we're just kind of flapping everywhere. And you can hear that coming through the port. You can't even feel any air like I could from the 20 hertz standing from this far away. Here I am all the way up to there. That's probably 8 feet away. I can really feel the air coming through the port, but just 5 hertz higher, same volume, I don't feel anything. So I think we're tuned a little bit above 20 hertz, closer to 25 maybe. And I think that's a sweet spot for this sub. I think it really likes that area. It's rated down to 16. I personally would cross it over about 20 and not dig any lower than that. In my review, my 4 review, I will be putting measurements up to see what this can do near field. We'll put the mic near field and in my listening position. So I want to do one more test. I want to play some sort of song that's not copyrighted and see what that does that way. Alright guys, so this is just some random bass boosted song that I found on YouTube that actually does a really good job of showing off the sub. I unplugged every speaker in here, so the song currently playing. I have a decibel meter here. I don't know if you guys can even see that. 72.7 because of my voice. But it's around my listening position. So I have the secondary camera pointing at the sub. Take a listen to this. This is at a pretty good volume. 31 on the volume level there. And this is probably close to max volume for this song without destroying the sub. So definitely violent. It does sound really good. but it's not that loud. That's actually moving quite a bit more than what shows on the camera, but it's a good volume. It's definitely vibrating everything. No port chuffing issues right now. It's at a pretty high frequency. There you go. And the song ended there. I'm going to stop it. So that test right there, I wanted to hear what the sub was doing volume-wise, the SPL level-wise, in my listening position, at least with that song there. That's probably around the 35 hertz kind of test right there. Nothing too deep, but it was moving quite a bit, and it wasn't that loud, and that's where that 400 watt issue comes from. In the review, I'll tell you a lot more. I don't want to spoil the review in this video, but you guys can really see. Let me turn off the secondary camera here. You guys can really see its strengths and weaknesses just kind of in these little tests here. So I've been watching movies and listening to music a lot more than just this video, so I have a lot that I want to say. And the review video is literally coming up right now. So I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for watching the torture test with me. I kind of got nervous when I started smelling it. You don't want to toast it. But with that being said, it was very fun to kind of see how hard I can push these things to the limits. And it honestly is not a bad sub. But again, I'll save that for the full review. Make sure you check that out coming right after this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And let me know your comments down below of this RP1200SW from Klipsch. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already. And we will see you in the next video. K-Pace Guy out. Peace.